Success sometimes hides in the most unexpected places. And today, we are exploring the power of performance, passion, and a commitment to inclusion that can unlock serious business potential. First, we have previous guest and friend of the show, Gabriel Mudd. As a singer, actor, and DEI advocate, he's got his finger on the pulse of how to create real inclusion in both arts and corporate spaces. And on the next level stage, we have the founder of the Sunburst Convention, Greg Thompson. If you haven't heard of it and don't know about his talents to corporate events, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this. All this and more coming up on the Business Breakout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to be here today with you and bring the people on that I have on for you today. And sometimes the most inspiring success stories begin where you least expect them, whether it's finding your voice within multiple industries or championing causes that spark real change or discovering those hidden business lessons within creative industries. And if you haven't guessed it, I am all about embracing the unconventional. And before I go any further, if this is your first time here, well, hello there. I'm Ella Glasgow, your host and the Director of Funability at Beyond Virtual Events, where I help established small businesses create impactful virtual experiences. And this just so happens to be the unconventional virtual event that I produce live inside of Zoom on the first and third Wednesday of every month. I am not here alone. I am with my guests. They are ready to go. Just wave, everybody. And this is my personal invitation to you to join us in Zoom for the next one so that you can see what's possible for your online events. And depending on where you're watching us from, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube's, the link to register will be in the description or in the comments. So over the years, I have discovered that finding success really requires developing a belief in yourself, and sometimes that has to be through unconventional means. And my first guest really understands this, especially when it comes to building employee belief, not just in themselves, but also in the company. So with that being said, please welcome back to the Business Breakout DEI advocate and consultant, Mr. Gabriel Mudd. Hello, Gabe.
Hey, Ella. Good to see you.
It's so good to see you as well. I'm so glad that you could come back and be here with us today. I know this music, right? I got to give you the good stuff to come in. So, Gabe, the last time that you were here, we talked about how you and I met and all of those things. And we just were reminiscing about that today as we were sitting in our VIP pink room. And I talked to you about how we met, but what we didn't talk about is how you developed all the skills and talent that you have today, like where that came from. And I have discovered that you are what the cool kids are calling a multi-passionate. So, so I want to know, how did all of that get started for you?
Because I was poor. I'll explain that. As a creative, especially after I graduated from Belmont University with a musical theater degree, I actually started a degree in anthropology. I started my master's in anthropology, where I had a research background and did a lot of writing. I did that in Hawaii, where I studied the cultural pluralism in Hawaii, but like the link between Caribbean and Polynesian culture and how that actually came from the African diaspora and how a lot of the arts can be traced all the way back through that line from Africa all the way out to the Polynesian culture. And I always had a thirst for education and a thirst for wanting to do different things and not just limiting myself to one thing. Even when I was in college at Belmont, I started out as a commercial voice major and then switched to musical theater because I sang, danced, and acted and wanted to be able to do all three, but still kept my footing within the commercial voice program and then was allowed to do a lot of other things. I helped found a fraternity while I was there. I was in the commercial program and still did a lot of the commercial showcases and concerts and recording while I was a musical theater major. And so I decided that I wasn't just going to restrict myself to only doing one thing and trying to maximize my time with all of that. So I started my degree in anthropology. I decided that I didn't want to teach in anthropology or work in a museum and moved to New York City. When you're in New York, you have to have your hands in a million different things to make money. Every creative there is a server, or they are moonlighting for a temp agency, or doing their own music, or doing concerts, or having their own entrepreneurial bent. And with that, you end up getting into the hustle. And that's kind of like how hustle culture starts, is like, you're like, okay, cool, what's this thing that I like to do that I can be using as a side business? Or I like doing this, let me make soap, let me do all of these things. So I decided to use that to my advantage of, okay, cool, I am good at encouraging people, I'm good at entertainment, I'm good at connecting with other people, I'm great at research, and I have a background in service. And so I figured out how to kind of utilize all of those things and streamline them in different areas, but then also realize how they all connect.
Yeah, I think that you've actually brought to light something that I feel many people miss when it comes to being a multi-passionate. You've actually put it in a positive light. And a lot of people will take seeing someone who has multi-passionate ideas and being someone who wants to do all kinds of things as being disorganized, and it's seen in a really negative light. But I love how you've taken all of that together and recognized how you could take all of those passions and streamline them into the spaces that you work in now, which means basically you're being unconventional because you're walking in a lot of corporate spaces, and it's they are not necessarily used to the unconventional. So my question to you for that is how has your unconventional view then really helped create a space for inclusion in those spaces?
That, I feel like that's a multifaceted question. A lot of it comes from wanting to be treated well and wanting to be recognized as a person that has value and has intrinsic worth. And I think once you do that and you start to try to advocate for your own intrinsic worth, then you're able to um, speak to a CEO and say, hey, like, I believe that we have this ability. Can we look at this? Or speak to your managers to be able to do that. I think it's being willing to take risks and try new things in new creative ways that haven't necessarily been seen. For me personally, it was still a lot of stuff is to make my job easier. And I'm like, the easier that I can do my job with the most creative way, great.
Right.
And I'm able to like move forward from there. So like for me specifically, I had all these backgrounds. I served because I lived in New York. I worked in hospitality because I lived in New York and wanted to make money. My dad owns an accounting firm, and I worked for him for a couple summers and a couple different times. And I had all these different backgrounds, and I have an arts background. So I decided I didn't want to hold myself to one specific thing. And the more that I could incorporate all the things that I do, the easier it was going to be for me to fully bring myself to whatever job that I was doing. And being authentic to myself, I was able to bring my talents and my gifts to the job that I was doing.
Yeah.
And you can't do that honestly without interrogating who you are and what you're good at, and then being able to advocate that for yourself, or finding interests, even if it's just a hobby, finding your interests and being able to separate that from your job. So then you're able to like do your job well, but then have your outside interests.
Right, right. I love that you talked about being able to basically you're talking about developing that belief in yourself and
Mhm.
understanding who you are. You took the time to develop that so that you could bring that to the spaces that you're playing, and like you said, play authentically. So when it comes to those spaces, we could go so there, we could go so deep and so wide, but we only have so
Mhm.
much time, y'all. And I want to make
I'm
sure
here
that
for another. That's
I
why I'm
wa-
here for another session.
what I know. I have to bring you back to season 3. Okay, so um, so I want to ask you. I'm asking you this as a last question for right now, but it's not forever because he's not going anywhere. But when it comes to being able now that you've developed that belief in yourself, for you to be able to ask for what it is that you want, and you said, trusting, wanting to be treated well, and understanding
Mhm.
your intrinsic value, how are you able to help businesses, or how can businesses actively build that belief that they are a safe place for many types of voices?
Sure. Um, I think that comes with the business owner, the manager, the CEO actively engaging with their employees, but also taking the time to educate themselves about social justice, about the Black Lives Matter movement, uh, about trans and LGBTQ rights, and not just to like look at that as an overall, but like actually try to seek out people that have more experience in those areas or that are smarter than you and listen and not talk, but actually just listen and listen to people's experiences. From that employment standpoint, like then you're able to authentically engage with people in ways because you have an attitude for learning and for education and learning about other people. You just expand your worldview. I think that's part of being in development as a person, is wanting to expand your worldview and know about other things that you haven't necessarily had access to. You end up being able to be more empathetic. You end up being able to be more compassionate. You end up listening to others actively and wanting to see the world become a better place because you know something that is outside of yourself. And that way, when you grow, the people around you can grow. And if we look at it from that aspect, of saying like, okay, well, I'm taking this time as a business owner to grow and learn about something that is not me and that I don't have experience with. I get to grow personally, but I get to serve a different point in my business that I would not have necessarily been able to see before because I'm engaging with people that I would not have been around in a different way.
Yeah. When you can grow, I wrote it down. When you can grow, the people around you can grow. I
Yeah.
love the way that you put that, and being able to help owners, business owners, help the CEOs to be able to understand that they really have to take the time
Mhm.
to listen, which
Mhm.
sometimes when we're in those positions of power, whatever side of the fence that we happen to be living on, sometimes it's harder to open our ears to hear
Yeah.
what those around us have to say, but we really do need to take the time to listen, to just be quiet and listen, because those other
Yeah. And it
people also
takes,
need the
oh,
opportunity to be able to speak.
yeah, sorry to speak over you.
Yeah.
It takes humility. It takes that time to like be like, okay, cool. I know this, but this person is saying something else. I'm gonna put down what I have so that I can listen and learn something different. And that is really hard for a lot of people when we're told that we have the right answer, or when we're consistently the ones that are looked to for support, looked to for the good ideas.
Yeah.
It's hard to like lay down what you have and like accept something else when it is outside of the box when you're used to it.
Yeah. I totally understand that, and thank you for saying that. I'm glad that you said that. And Gabriel, don't go away. Don't go away. I'm going to bring you back later. But you all, this is such an important conversation, and I'm really glad that I was able to bring him back so that we can have this conversation and see and talk more about those unconventional ways that we are doing things in our businesses to really help bring about the successes that we're wanting to see. And my next guest also found unconventional ways to bring entertainment to corporate events and functions. And I have had both the pleasure of performing at events with him and being a part of a sensational convention that he has created for entertainers. And I've just learned today that he is the only person holding this particular type of convention. I'm not going to tell you, you're just going to have to wait. I'm going to give you a little taste of it so that you can see, okay, on the Next Level stage. I can see Greg in the pink room with a big smile on his face because I had a big smile as well, remembering some of those faces that I have known for a while and seeing their faces doing their thing. The Sunburst Convention is what that's all about. It's about a celebrity impersonators, which is a whole crazy world unto itself. And I have brought my guest here today to let us know even more about that and how that could possibly be something that is useful for you in your business. So please welcome to the stage the entertainer and producer himself, Mr. Greg Thompson.
Hey, Ella.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad that I can have you here with me today.
I am very excited to be here, and you showing that reel just made me a little teary-eyed because I love these people so much, and I'm so proud, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Some of them are not all still with us. Some of those people that are in that video, and it was when I saw that, I was like, I have to show this video because it's so good. So Greg, I don't know if you saw that I had actually one of our mutual friends on one of the last shows, Andrea Tyler, and she is a fellow impersonator and friend. And I asked her the same question I want to ask you is, how in the world did you fall into the world of celebrity impersonation? How?
Well, I'm going to make this as short as possible. I had moved back to Orlando. I was entertaining as best as I could, emceeing karaoke, working at local dinner shows, and an agency called me and said, can you put together some entertainers for the grand opening of the Lowe's Multiplex Theater at Universal Studios? And I said, sure. And we ended up getting it. And they called up and said, oh, yeah, we need an Austin Powers impersonator. And I thought, who are we going to get to do that? And my wife went, you? And I went, me? I've only seen the movie one time. And she said, yeah, but you do a good British accent and you can pick up the characteristics of him. You're a mimicker, if that's a word. And so I put the costume together and got a bad wig and some bad fake teeth and went out and said, yeah, baby, all day long. And next thing you know, people were calling up going, I hear you're an Austin Powers impersonator. And during this, that was when the second movie came out. And during the second and third movie, I was portraying Austin Powers anywhere from 3 to 5 nights a week for like 2 years.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
And of course, I got better and better at it. One of my favorite stories, I'm going to share this real quick with you. I went back to that theater to help them with another promotion as Austin Powers. And when I got there, the manager said, yeah, we had this guy to do our grand opening as Austin Powers, and he was horrible. And I said, no, that was me. And she said, no, it wasn't you. This guy was really bad. Here's this picture. I said, no, that's me.
Oh, I can attest that he has gotten much better over the years as Austin Powers. That is crazy. Well, I know that you went from doing that impersonation randomly by someone asking you a question and you being the one that needed to fill it, to now having the Sunburst Convention, which is in its 20th year. And it's
Our 20th year this year.
20th year this year. And it takes place in Orlando. It's happening in the summer.
Mhm.
And,
No, it happens in September.
oh, it's September.
The week after
Right, in September. Yeah. A week after
Labor Day.
A week after Labor Day. Awesome. So get down there if you want to go, because it's open to the public to be able to go and see all of this funness that is going on. And not only do you have that, you also have a venue that you opened up in North Carolina. So
Yes.
the question I want to ask you, you took on some big risk to
Yeah.
start the Sunburst Convention, first of all, when you did, and to go and purchase a venue when you did. So I have to know, what did you have inside you that had you believing that you could take on such a big risk and win?
Thank you for asking that. And I do have an answer for it. And it's, since I was a kid, if I had an idea, I just never thought that it wasn't possible. I started a dance team, a clogging team, when I was 14, and I never thought that it wouldn't be successful. I just said, I want to have a dance team. Same thing with the Sunburst Convention. Okay, well, we're going to have the Sunburst Convention. I don't think about failing. I think about, okay, that's what you want to do. Now you have to get things in line to make it happen. And I just step by step. One thing that I can't stand is a roadblock. I call them roadblocks. That's why I'm kind of a one-man operation. Me and my wife now, she's my consultant on so many things. But I don't like roadblocks. If I say, for example, I'm going to open up a nightclub, and somebody says, well, you're going to have to get insurance for that. Well, of course. But that's a roadblock. That's somebody putting up a roadblock. Well, where are you going to get your tables and chairs? Well, you get them from the chair and the table place. Well, where are you going to get your liquor license? You find out how to get one and you do it. So I don't like roadblocks. And whenever I take on something, I don't think about what if it fails. I think about how fun it's going to be when it's successful.
Okay, can we put that on a t-shirt?
Yeah. No roadblocks.
No roadblocks. Don't care about when it fails. How fun is it going to be?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
because I think you just have to be a positive person. I'm one of these. We were talking earlier, and I was talking about the surgery that I had, but my takeoff from the surgery is that I lost 22 pounds. So the surgery was horrible, but it's just an automatic thing with me. I tend to look at the positive side of things. I am definitely a half full kind of person.
For sure.
Glass
For sure.
half full.
Yeah, and obviously that has brought you success along the way, to be able to always think on the sunny side of life.
Yeah.
So now that you've got the Sunburst Convention in its 20th year, you and I were talking about before, a lot of things have changed. So much has changed in these last 4 years alone. So how have you adapted and stayed innovative in this industry that is so incredibly competitive?
It really is. And I have been rightfully accused of just trying anything and everything. My wife says, I'm one of those people that just takes an idea and throws it on the wall and see which one sticks. And that's what I do. And particularly after COVID, I said, well, we can't do live entertainment anymore, so I will start something called Celebrity Grams, which is still a good idea, but it didn't take off because during COVID, people just were not spending money on anything. It was kind of like Cameo for celebrity impersonators. And I had it all set up. I got 4 or 5 orders. That was about it. Okay, well, what else can I do? And that's when the opportunity came to purchase this venue in North Carolina. So I did that, and that has worked out well for me. But I constantly don't sit around and go, okay, well, I've got nothing to do, so I'm going to wait for for the phone to ring. I get online. I use social media tremendously. And I love what you do with this program and you being innovative with this. You've got to get out there and put it out there, and you've got to promote yourself and reinvent yourself. What would be fun? What's something I'm good at? What's something that I'm good at and it's fun? Let's work on that.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, if it's not going to be fun, then why are we doing it? Because it doesn't matter what it is, whether it is a CPA meeting with all of us learning about the new accounting terms, or it is an event just for partying and being happy go lucky. It needs to be fun.
It needs to be fun,
It
and
needs to be fun.
I guess that I want to have fun with what I'm doing. I want to make money at it, but the most important thing is that I want the folks that I'm entertaining or doing something for. I want them to be happy first and foremost. But I
Yes.
want to listen to them, and I want to help them out and steer them in the right direction too,
Right.
to make it a success for everybody.
Wait, you about to open up a whole can of worms, Greg? We don't we can't, we don't have time for all. We're gonna have to bring you back too, because
Okay.
that's a whole can of worms. Thank you for
Mhm.
everything that you've been talking with us about at this moment today. It's true when it comes to what it is that we're doing in business. It needs to be fun. If you are training your employees and they are coming in with faces that are downtrodden and they are looking like they just need to leave the room upon stepping foot into the room, then you need to reconsider whether or not maybe you're doing something wrong as the person offering that training, because there is always a way. What is it that Mary Poppins said? In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game. You can always bring an element of fun, because fun is what helps us learn, and it's what helps us retain what it is that we are doing. And with that being said, I want to bring both of my guests back, because you two have brought so much to the table today when it comes to how to look at things, whether it's looking at how we're attacking things in business, or how we are helping to create environments that allow those that are working with us to feel safe in those businesses. I really appreciate what it is that you've both brought to the table today. And I would like to ask you both, I want to give you both an opportunity to briefly answer this question that I've been thinking about before we started today. And that is, I'm going to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it, who gets to go first. But um, in these last few moments, if you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself at the start of your journey to help you overcome the biggest challenges? I feel like I know Greg's answer, but what would you tell your younger self how to overcome the biggest challenges that you face? I'm going to eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and I'm going to let Gabriel go first.
Yeah, that's an involved question. My background is a little bit more difficult. I was raised in a very conservative Christian environment, in a small rural town. And I went through conversion therapy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's considered X-day therapy. It's not actually therapy. It's pretty harmful. There's a pretty high suicide and depression rate with people that go through that. And I was in an environment that was a little bit controlling, and actually had some spiritual abuse and stuff like that. So for my own personal self, had I and I've spent a lot of time like working all of this out through trauma therapy, through different types of therapies, and figuring out like what I needed, which has honestly like helped me become who I am now. Um, and so like for me to go back to my younger self starting on this journey would probably be to trust myself, trust my own instincts, to ask a lot of questions, to get to know myself in a better way earlier on, to not just believe what is prescribed to me and continue to question my faith and who I am in a positive way so that I can get to know my faith, my higher power, God, in a much better and more personal way versus what people have told me, and interrogated that for myself, and to take risks and not tell myself no. I think a lot of times I told myself no, I couldn't do something because someone else thought that I shouldn't, or someone would have seen me as gay and that's terrible, or someone would have said something to me instead of trusting myself and believing what I had intrinsically. So I would go back and tell myself that.
Thank you. That is powerful stuff. I have the same question for you, Greg. What would you tell your younger self, knowing the challenges that you
Well,
face now?
I would say learn to manage your money better would be first and foremost. And I would say, Greg, you're worth it. You're worth you're worth more than what you think. That would be the biggest thing I would tell myself right there.
Oh, the goodness that you all have dropped here today. If you're watching with us live, and I see some of you out there watching with us live, let us know what are the big aha moments that you had with both of our speakers today. Thank you for joining us live. If you're watching in the replay, then I would love to hear what are those aha moments, those things that sparked fire in you today. What made you say that, oh, yes, I'm going to take that and run with it? And before I let you go, I want you to know that I mentioned before that I am the director of Funability at Beyond Virtual Events, and I am definitely about being unconventional. And I want you to know that it's not just about hosting events for me. It really is about crafting experiences with purpose, because an event is a stepping stone. And when it's done right, it can transform a single moment for your business into a cascade of marketing opportunities for your business. So I can help you overcome the challenges that you may be facing with your online events right now. So if you're looking to elevate your virtual presence and turn your next event into a powerhouse of ongoing lead generating engagement without tech headache, then I am here to help you make that happen. And until next time, I want you to keep finding ways to step out of the unconventional and find a way to take risks. I've got the notes here. Take risks, not tell yourself no, and value yourself. And remember that everything that you do can go far beyond. I'll see you next time.